Hey, and welcome to day 7 of our 8 days of arm balances. Today is all about our side crow. So already you've had some fun with a few arm balances. You know your foundations quite well by now, hopefully. So today we're going to put it into a little bit more of a funky arm balance that involves a little bit more twisting action than we've had so far. So you know your crow pose from day 4. Today is all about our side crow, which looks a little bit different, as you'll see when we get into it. But for this, we will again have our blanket and our 2 blocks if you have those props available to you. And when you're ready, let's get started. Let's start laying down on our backs. So when you're ready, bring yourself all the way down onto your mat. Taking a moment to get yourself comfortable, finding any position that feels good in your body as we just take a few moments to be still and tune in to the breath. So you've done it, you have arrived on your mat today. Now that you're here, there is nowhere else you have to be, nothing else you have to do. You get to just spend this time with yourself in your body. And it starts right here, tuning into your breath. Following that in and out of each inhale and exhale. Let's take just another moment here to fully bring your presence, bring your focus into this moment. Getting ready for what this day, what this practice has in store. With this next breath, I invite you to take an inhale through your nose and open your mouth. With an exhale, sigh it out. And if you're not already there, please bend your knees, plant the soles of your feet onto the floor. Take a moment to feel your spine nice and long on the mat, and find that nice neutral pelvis position, tailbone lengthening towards your heels. As you feel ready, draw your right knee in towards your chest, catching either the back of your thigh or your shin. And then lengthen your left leg out, letting your foot hover over the mat just a couple of inches here. Feel your navel hug in towards your spine, starting to turn on your core. As you lengthen out through that left leg, feel that little stretch as we activate. And take an inhale here. With your exhale, switch out your legs, drawing your left knee towards your chest, reaching that right leg out to hover. See if you can keep the head, the shoulders relaxed, just really working through the lower body, the core here. As you inhale and exhale to switch. Awesome, let's speed that up a little bit. So inhale, switch here, left knee and right leg long. Exhale to switch again, right knee coming to your chest. Inhale, left knee in. And exhale, right knee in. Keep that going with your breath. Keeping this movement nice and controlled. Feeling how it really comes from your core. Now, if you choose to add on here today, you can lift your head and shoulders, keeping your gaze right at that point where the wall meets the ceiling, so you're not straining through the neck. And keeping that movement going through the legs, keeping the core nice and strong, spine nice and long on the mat. Beautiful. Inhale, left knee. Exhale, right. Just a few more times here, waking things up. Now with your next exhale, keeping that right knee hugging towards your chest, lower the head and shoulders if you have them lifted. Bringing your hands now behind the head, elbows nice and wide. Take an inhale, lift the head and shoulders once again. As you exhale, reach your left shoulder towards your right knee. So twisting through the core. Then inhale, head through center as you switch your legs. Exhale, right shoulder to left knee. Let's make that a little bit more fluid. So right knee comes in as your left shoulder reaches over. And then switching the legs, right shoulder to left knee. Finding your bicycles, right knee and left shoulder over. Left knee and right shoulder over. For today, keep this a little bit slower, a little bit more controlled. So we're not going for like cardio with this move here. We're looking to really feel that engagement of the core and that strength through the legs. You got it. Beautiful job. One more time each side, reaching towards that right knee, reaching towards that left knee. And then inhale through center, bring the knees in, reach your hand towards your heels. Exhale, reach everything away from you. Inhale, scoop as you bring everything in. Exhale, lengthen everything away. 3 more. Inhale, scoop in. Exhale, reach out. Inhale. Exhale. Last one here. Inhale, draw everything in. Exhale, lengthen out. Beautiful. Inhale, bring everything in. Exhale, relax your head, your shoulders. Beautifully done. 1 foot at a time, bring your feet down onto the mat. Take a breath in and breath out. Then 1 leg at a time, stretching your legs out long. Take your next inhale to reach your arms back behind you. As you exhale, relax your belly. Find this full body stretch. Hopefully feels like a really nice release through those front abdominals especially. Keeping your hips rooted where they are at the center of your mat. Begin to walk your feet towards that bottom right corner of the mat here. Keep that left hip down so everything's kind of flat on the floor. And then if you'd like to add on here, arms reach towards that top right corner of your mat, keeping the shoulders down until you have this kind of banana shape through your body. Feeling into that stretch for your left side body. Taking nice, slow, smooth breaths here in and out through your nose. Let's take another inhale here on this side. As you exhale, slowly bring your arms, your legs back to center in line with your hips. When you're ready, we're going to try that on the other side. So feet walking to that bottom left corner of your mat. Maybe arms reaching towards that top left corner. Finding that crescent moon shape here, that stretch through your right side body. And let's take another breath in. As you breathe out, walking everything back through center. Legs extended, let's flex the feet now, so toes point towards the sky. Arms will reach straight up over your shoulders. Take an inhale, hug your navel in, start to lift your head off the floor. With your exhale, peel yourself up off of the mat, coming all the way up to seated. Beautiful. Drop your hands down, cross your shins, and let's come to our hands and knees. Finding your tabletop position here. You know your foundations, rooting through the fingertips, lifting through the wrists. Let's take an inhale to find your cow pose, arching the back, lifting the chest. Exhale for your cat pose, rounding your spine, looking towards your toes. Inhale for your cow, opening the front body. And exhale for your cat, stretching through your back body. One more like that. Inhale. And exhale. Inhaling back through center neutral spine, turning your fingers to point out now to the outer edges of your mat. Inhale for your cow. And exhale for your cat. Two more here. Inhale, heart reaches forward. Exhale, tailbone tucks under. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhaling back to neutral. Turning your fingers back to face you. Readjusting the positioning of your hands as needed. Claw through your fingertips 3 rounds here as you inhale. And exhale. Inhale, making this movement as big or as small as you need. And exhale. Last time, inhale to open. Exhale to round. Inhale to your neutral spine. As you exhale, slowly shift your weight back, peeling the hands off of the mat. Coming back down onto the backs of your hands, fingers point in for our last 3 rounds. Inhaling for your cow. And exhaling for your cat. Pushing through the fingernails, inhale. And exhale. Last time here, inhale. And exhale. Awesome. Inhale back to neutral. Flip the hands. Palms come back to the floor. Let your knees open wide. Let your big toes come together to kiss. And start to sit your hips back all the way towards your heels. Maybe touching the feet, maybe not. Melting your heart down towards the mat as you reach your fingertips forward. Finding this child's pose here, but today we're going to add a little extra stretch into the shoulders. So turning your palms to face one another, bring the hands together in a prayer. Let the upper arms come in around your ears and push your elbows into the mat. Then bend your elbows so that your fingertips lift up towards the sky, or maybe even drop your hands all the way back until your thumbs meet your upper back. Finding this kind of shark fin variation of our child's pose. Adding a little extra something something for the arms, for the shoulders here. Let's stay for another breath in and breath out. Slowly releasing your hands back down to the mat. Take an inhale to rise up, once again rooting down through the fingers, tucking now through your toes. With an exhale, push your hips up and back. Find your downward facing dog. Take a little movement here if that feels nice as we arrive in our first down dog of the day. Notice how your body's feeling as we really start to warm things up and get ready for the rest of this practice. Let's take another inhale here in our downward facing dog. And exhale completely. With an inhale, please bend your knees, look forward. And as you exhale, take your walk to the top of your mat. Feet coming up to meet your hands in a forward fold release. Allow yourself to hang heavy here for a moment or two. Really stretching through the back body. Let's take another breath in here all together. And breath out. Letting your knees bend, take an inhale, slowly roll yourself up to standing. Take your time as you come all the way to the top, finding yourself in your Tadasana mountain pose. Let's move through 3 rounds of our sun salutation A to really warm things up a little bit more and get the body ready to go. And we're gonna add a little bit of spice into our sun salutations today. So let's start with 1 regular sun salutation A. Tadasana, top of your mat, standing tall. Take an inhale to rise your arms. With your exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, plant your palms, step back to your plank. Knees lowered or lifted up to you as you inhale. Exhale, lower down halfway, chaturanga. Inhale for your back bend of choice, lifting your heart. And exhale, send the hips back to downward facing dog. Take an inhale here. And exhale. With an inhale, bend your knees, get light on your feet. Exhale, take a couple big steps to the top of your mat and find forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Inhale, rise to standing, arms reach for the sky. Exhale, hands come down through heart center and release by your sides. So let's spice that up here. Please grab one of your blocks. We're gonna do our next sun salutation with a block in between the legs. So squeeze that block between your thighs, whatever orientation of the block feels most relatively comfortable for you. And we're gonna find ourselves at the top of the mat, getting ready for that same sun salutation. As you squeeze the block, think about rotating the thighs as if you could push the block back out of your legs. And then push your feet down, lift your spine tall. Take an inhale to rise your arms. Exhale to fold forward. Keep squeezing on the block. Inhale for your halfway lift. Now is where it gets interesting. Exhale, palms come down. Either kind of penguin step your feet back or hop back into your plank. Nice, keep that squeeze as you inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale for your back bend. Then exhale, send the hips back and up into downward facing dog. Squeezing on the block, imagine you could shoot it back behind you. Take another inhale here. And exhale. With your inhale, bending your knees, preparing to come forward. With your exhale, again, either waddle or hop, feet to the top of your mat. You got it. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Inhale, root to rise, reaching for the sky. Exhale, hands come through heart center and release. One more round of our sun salutations. Option to keep the block or let it go. Let's do this. Inhale, rise your arms. Exhale, fold forward. Follow your breath as you inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your palms, make your way back to your plank, however you want to get there. Inhale, shifting weight forward. Exhale, chaturanga, strong arms. Inhale for your back bend. And exhale back into downward facing dog. Keep squeezing in as you inhale. And exhale. Inhale to bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk, step, lightly hop, feet to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale to fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing, arms stretch to the sky. Exhale, hands through heart center and release. Beautifully done. Please remove that block if you have it. Set it off to the side for now. And let's meet back in our mountain pose here. Now, options for you today. Either keep your feet right underneath your hips or bring your big toes together, thighs together, a little space between your heels. We're setting up for our chair pose, so you choose your own adventure here. With your inhale, rise your arms. As you exhale, sit your hips back to your chair. Feel that same squeeze through the legs as if you still had your block there. And then can you feel those elevator doors closing around the navel, keeping that really sweet, strong core connection? Beautiful. If you'd like to add on, start to rock your weight forward towards your toes, lift your heels to hover off the mat, find this balancing chair pose. Maybe sitting the hips a little lower, we have another inhale here. Exhale, fold forward, release over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. And exhale to fold. Stepping your left foot back behind you, let's find a lunge here, keeping your left knee lifted for today. Option to bring your blocks underneath your hands to give you a little bit more height so you can really focus in on the hips. Now let's inhale here, dropping your hips, lifting your heart. As you exhale, rise your hips, start to straighten through that right leg in a long pyramid pose. Now we're gonna flow with the breath when you're ready. So inhaling to bend your front knee, sink low in that lunge. Exhale to stretch the legs long and fold forward. Again, inhale to your lunge. And exhale to your pyramid. Twice more. Inhale forward. Exhale, rock back. You got this. Inhale. And exhale. Now the next time that you inhale, come forward to your lunge. Really root down through the balls of your feet. Take an exhale, think about hugging the hips together, feeling that sensation of squeezing through the inner thighs. Then inhale, slowly rise all the way up, coming to your crescent lunge. With your exhale, settle in. Rooting down through your hips, getting light through your rib cage. Let's take another inhale here. As you exhale, bring your hands down in front of your heart. Inhale here, lift your chest to your thumbs. With your exhale, take your twist. Left elbow coming down to meet your right thigh. Gently pressing arm against leg as you curl the chest open, drawing your right shoulder back. Really pushing through the feet, hugging through the hips. Feel those strong foundations supporting you. Let's take another inhale right here. As you exhale, slowly unwind your twist, come through your lunge. Then inhale, open to your warrior two. Back heel drops down, arms spread out wide. Give yourself a moment to settle here. Finding that heel to arch alignment, opening through the hips. And let's take a breath in all together. And breath out. Next, inhale, straightening through your front leg. As you exhale, kick your hips back, reach the right arm forward, and bring it down into your triangle. Lengthening out through your spine, spreading wide through your arms. Let's stay for a full breath in and complete breath out. As you inhale, passing through warrior two, stretching all the way back to your reverse warrior. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Step your left foot forward to meet your right. Finding your fold at the top of your mat, pause here for a breath in. And breath out. When you're ready, stepping your right foot back behind you, let's find our lunge on this side. Squaring off your hips, dropping down to feel that stretch. Taking an inhale to lift your heart. As you exhale, push your hips back, start to straighten your left leg any amount. With the breath, here we go. Inhale forward into your lunge. And exhale back into that pyramid stretch. 3 more times at your pace, inhaling forward and exhaling back. Knowing that you do not have to go into your deepest versions of these poses here. We're really looking just to wake up, warm up the hips. Does not matter if you are in your biggest and best pyramid pose. We're just kind of scratching the surface of that stretch. Now as you inhale back into your lunge, really root through the balls of your feet, hug your hips in. With your exhale, lift your navel towards your spine. Then inhale, slowly rise up. Feel your foundations as you come into your crescent lunge. So the legs are really strong supporting you here. The navel hugs in so you have that stability from the core. So let's use that to our advantage, staying strong through the lower body so we can play through the upper body. We have an inhale to reach up. As you exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, chest to thumbs. Exhale, turn into your twist, right elbow to left thigh. Notice navel is still lifting towards your spine, so your belly is trying to move away from your thigh as that left thigh moves back in space. Beautiful, that's gonna give you the space to really turn open into this twist, turning your chest to the left. You got this, take another inhale here. As you exhale, slowly unwind, passing through your lunge. Then inhale, drop the back heel down, open up wide, find your warrior 2. Use your exhale to really settle in. Awesome, awesome job. Take an inhale here and exhale. Inhale, start to straighten your front leg, setting up for triangle. Exhale, kick your hip back and lower down. Feel that openness through the body as you find this pose. Staying rooted down through the feet, strong through the legs, but again, really free to move and open through the upper body. Keeping your breath steady as you take another inhale here. And exhale. Inhale, bending the front knee, reaching back to reverse warrior. Exhale, hands come all the way down to the mat. This time stepping back into your downward facing dog. Take a full breath in and complete breath out. You got this. Let's keep it flowing when you're ready. Take an inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. Exhale, draw left knee over to right elbow, crossing your body. Again, inhale, sweep back, 3-legged dog. Exhale, left knee, right elbow. You got this. Inhale, stretch it back. Exhale to the right elbow. This time, hold it there. Start to lengthen out through that left leg as you come to the inside of the right foot. Stretching your right arm open, find your fallen triangle. Pushing through the left hand, strong through the left shoulder. Take another inhale. Exhale, right hand comes down. Curl that left knee towards your right elbow. And then step left foot back to meet the right, find your plank. You did it, take an inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga, find your flow. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. Take your time to get there. Notice how you feel as you move. Notice what your body needs in this moment. Let's take a breath in and breath out. Other side, inhaling right leg to the sky. Exhale, cross the body, right knee, left elbow. Feel that core strength as you inhale, reach it back. Exhale, knee to left elbow. One more, inhale, stretch it back. Exhale, knee to left elbow. This time, reaching out through the right leg, come to the outer edge of the foot. Inner left foot drops down. Weight to your right hand as you inhale, sweep the left arm open, fawn triangle. You got this, pushing up away from the floor. Take another inhale here. Exhale, left hand down. Slowly unwind, knee to elbow. Step it back to plank. You got this, inhale here. Exhale, chaturanga. Find that flow. Meeting back in downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. Let it out. Well done. Step your feet a little bit closer together. Take an inhale, bend your knees, drop your hips. As you exhale, hug your navel in and up. Inhale, look forward, get springy on the feet. Exhale, use that core to get light as you hop your feet to meet your hands. Forward fold, release down. Take a few breaths here. Might even feel nice to grab opposite elbows. Take a gentle sway side to side. We're here for another breath in and breath out. Releasing that grip on the elbows if you have it. Setting your feet up for your version of chair pose. So either feet under the hips or big toes together, heels apart. Bend your knees, drop your hips. Take an inhale to lift your chest away from your thighs. With your exhale, hands come to heart center. Beautiful. Take another inhale, chest to thumbs. As you exhale, turn into a twist, left elbow to right thigh. Gently push leg into arm, arm into leg as you turn your chest open. Keep that core connection strong and let this twist come from your rib cage. Really feel that rotation. Feel the legs magnetize together as you twist through your spine. And take an inhale here. Exhale, unwind that twist, but stay in your chair. You got this. Take an inhale. Exhale, turning to the left knee now. Right elbow finds your thigh. Keep the legs together, hips square. As you pull the left shoulder back, open your chest and lengthen your spine. Lots going on here. Let your body feel into it. That sweet release of the twist, that strong foundation of the pose. You got this. Take another inhale here. As you exhale, unwind that twist back to your chair for just one more inhale. Exhale, fold forward and release. Beautifully done. Big breath in. Let it out. Walking your feet together now if they're not already there. Take an inhale, lift your heels off the floor. As you exhale, bend your knees, sit your hips down, coming all the way into your toe balance. Beautiful. So we've been here before on our day 4. If you'd like, you can bring your blocks over, give you a little extra lift, a little extra support. If you want, you can play around with balancing without the hands, see how that feels. Just spending a little bit of time in this toe balance to play around and feel that stretch through the feet. You got it. Now let's take another inhale here. As you exhale, slowly lower yourself down onto your bum. Bring the legs out in front of you, knees still bent, feet nice and wide apart. And let's just windshield wiper the knees side to side a little bit here. So dropping your knees to one side of your mat and then to the other. A little release for the hips before we come into our side crow. Beautifully done. All right, now it is time to break down our side crow. So when you're ready, bring those legs back to stillness. Let's come to a seated position and grab our props. So just like we did with our crow pose, we're going to be using our blocks as a perch, and we're going to use that blanket as kind of a crash pad, if not a psychological kind of safety net for us. So this time when we set up our perch with the blocks, we're going to set it up facing the edge of the mat here. So not facing the blanket, but facing the edge of the mat. Again, we have one block that is nice and flat. The second block that is a little backboard behind it. So once again, I'm going to show you this pose, and then we're going to try it out. We're going to break it down all together. Now this is a pose that has 2 sides to it, so make sure that you don't practice so much on one side that you don't have enough kind of strength and stamina left to get to the other side. So our side crow pose here, again, we're going to perch onto our blocks. The feet are together, and for this one, our legs are together. So we're essentially in that toe balance that we were just doing a moment ago. Now we're going to keep the legs glued together, and we're going to add a little rotation here. So I'm going to turn myself to face, in this case, my right leg. My hands are going to plant down, getting ready for that chaturanga shape. Now my front elbow is right behind my knee, planted onto my thigh. My back elbow, for our purposes today, is going to be planted right by the hip. Now, the kind of traditional side crow, the back elbow is not touching your body. At least to start out today, we're going to have the elbow touching the leg, okay? So that is my setup, my chaturanga arms. I'm finding this kind of shelf for the legs to sit on, and then I'm leaning out, lifting the feet, and finding my balance. And then when I'm ready, I'll drop back down, come up, and take a breather. Beautiful. All right, let's break that down. So again, a lot of this stuff you already know. We've been doing it all week together. So first is our foundations. Planting the hands like we've practiced every day, clawing through the fingertips, suction up through the palms. Same chaturanga arms, elbows bent, pointing straight back. That action of hugging in, staying really strong through the shoulders. As always, your core is doing most of the work here. So let's get ourselves set up so we can play around with feeling the core and play with shifting weight into our hands. So come up onto your perch if you have it and if you want to use it. For this one, because we do have to rotate and bring our hands down, it might be a little bit more difficult with the feet lifted. The perch is really just a perk to keep the feet a little higher so they don't have to lift quite as far off the floor, okay? So you're in your toe balance. Feel the squeeze of the inner thighs. Feel the squeeze of your navel hugging in and up. This is step 1. Step 2, we're gonna add our rotation, turning the chest to face. Let's start with that right thigh. So rotating through the rib cage here, trying your best to keep the hips squeezing together. Now hands are gonna come down onto the mat, that same chaturanga distance we've been doing. That front elbow is going to be aimed towards that front part of your thigh, your back elbow for the back part of your thigh. Now let's play here. You know your gaze needs to go forward because if you tuck, you're going to fall. So look out, over, past your fingertips. Start to shift your weight towards your hands. Start to bend the elbows and notice that your core is instantly going to turn on. So try that a couple times, just rocking over into the hands and then rocking back. And notice, just like we had with our normal crow pose, that suctioning in of the core, that hug to create that lift. Awesome. So next we're going to use that to bring our leg onto the arms. So your triceps are basically acting like a shelf for that outer thigh to sit on top of. So as you find that rotation, you bring your hands down. You're going to lift the hips up to bring that one side of the thigh onto the left arm and the back of the thigh onto the right arm. Now you're already leaning, so keep reaching through the chin, lifting through the navel, and then eventually your feet might start to lift. Now there's no pressure on your feet to lift up today if you don't want to go that far. With this one, you can't really practice one foot at a time. It is a bit more of an all or nothing situation. So really play with that lean. See how far you want to go with it. Remember, the key is trust. Your body can do this. So you have your hands planted, your chaturanga arms, inner thighs squeezing together the whole time, navel lifting you up. So you really just have to practice finding that shelf for your thigh to sit on, getting that lift enough to lean over and pick up the feet. So you can try that on that side a couple more times, but I'm going to move over to the other side. You can move along with me just so we can play with both sides equally today. Now do notice your left side and your right side are going to be different. So if you can do the pose on the right side, does not guarantee that you can do it on the left side. You'll probably find that one is stronger than the other. Totally normal. That's a-okay. So if you want to continue to use your perch and your crash pad, please feel free to do so. I'm going to demonstrate this side without the props just so you can see where we're going. So once again, we're starting with our toe balance. This will always be our start for our side crow. Squeezing through the inner thighs, hips coming together, navel hugging in. You've practiced all of this already throughout this class. Add your rotation when you're ready, this time turning towards that left leg. Hands coming down, getting ready to support you. Front elbow coming to the front of the thigh, back elbow to the back of the thigh. Palms plant as you lift the hips, lean onto the arms, bending the elbows in that chaturanga shape. Looking out as you hug the navel in, keep leaning until your feet lift up off the floor. When you're ready, feet come down, reset, take a moment to roll the wrists, roll the shoulders. Nice. So once again, the setup for the arms here, that front elbow right behind the knee, right at the front of the thigh. The back elbow is at the back of the thigh, right by your hip. So we're getting this really nice base of support for that leg to sit on. Now again, the kind of traditional way to do this posture is with the back elbow off of the hip. You might find that easier. You'll probably find that more challenging. So it can be really nice to first practice with the elbow on the hip. That way you understand the mechanics, you feel it in your body, and then you can play around with bringing the elbow off the hip. So if you'd like, please play with that left side for a few moments. See how the pose feels on that side. And I'll demonstrate for you once without the elbow on the hip. I'm going to do it on my right side because that's my stronger side. So same exact setup, except when you bring the hands down, you're going to shift it back slightly. So it does require a little bit more rotation. So that front elbow is going to be a little bit more central on the thigh. Your back elbow is going to be right behind your hip. You're still lifting up, leaning onto the hands, looking out, and then eventually lifting up the feet. So it takes a little bit more of that rotation, a little bit more of that hugging in to lift you up. But if you want to try with that elbow floating back there, please feel free to do so. Have fun with it. So take a few moments to play with that on the left side, on the right side, even it out, see which side feels better. You always have your prompts here to help you out, and you can always go back, pause the video to try some things out, review some of that breakdown that we just went through, okay? When you are ready to move on, we're gonna meet back together seated on the mat to wind things down and stretch after that side crow practice. Really well done today. Let's start with the arms relaxed by your sides. Please drop your chin towards your chest and gently move left ear to left shoulder, right ear to right shoulder, making these rainbows through the neck, stretching out. If it feels comfortable for you, you can take this into full rotations through the neck, moving nice and slowly. There's no rush here. Making sure to switch directions if you're taking those full circles. And settling your chin back to center, back to stillness. Lifting your head, gazes straight forward. And let's start to roll through the shoulders. Bringing your shoulders up, back, and down a couple times here. Getting out any crunchiness, any snap, crackle, pops after all that work we just did in our arm balance. Beautiful. When you're ready, we're going to take those circles down into the wrists, settling your shoulders onto your back and starting to roll through the wrists here. And you can stretch the fingers, curl them in, feel a little stretch there all the way through the hands. Beautiful. And shake that out a little bit, let that go. Awesome. Bring the soles of your feet together when you're ready. Let the knees open out wide. And let's set up for our butterfly. Lifting up onto your sits bone, settling your knees towards the floor. Let's take an inhale to sit up tall. And as you exhale, begin to fold yourself forward any amount. Really letting gravity take hold of the legs here as the hips open wide. Knees just gently dropping towards the floor. As you come into this place of stillness for the next 5-ish rounds of breath here, really letting yourself slow down your pace, slowing your breath, slowing your body, knowing that the hard work is done for today and now you really get to nurture yourself. Each moment, each breath here is a little thank you note to your body. Thanking yourself for everything you're capable of, for how you've challenged yourself on your mat today, for how you've expanded your limits. And let's take another inhale here. And exhale. With your next inhale, slowly rising back up to seated. Take your time. Bringing your hands to the outer edges of your legs. Gently press the thighs towards one another. Then please grab one of your blocks and bring yourself all the way to lay down onto your mat. What a sweet release after that arm balancing flow. Take a moment to let your body be supported here. Take a few deep breaths. And if you're not already there, please bend your knees, plant the soles of your feet about hips width distance apart. Grab your block, holding it on the medium setting, so balancing on that short to long edge. With an inhale, push through your feet to lift your hips and slide your block right there underneath your sacrum. So you're not placing the block on your butt cheeks, you're not up into the low back, you're right at that space in between, right about where your waistband would be. Then settling your weight onto the block, feeling that opening on the hip flexors here, across the belly, the front of the chest. Maybe the eyes close if that feels safe and comfortable for you, as you really let yourself relax into this shape. Nice little counter pose to our arm balances that kind of close us off. This is our chance to open up in a really sweet, passive way. Now, as we stay for another 10-ish rounds of breath on the support of the block, you have the option to either stay here or carefully, one leg at a time, start to lift your knees in towards your chest and extend your legs up towards the ceiling, coming into this gentle inversion. So choose your own adventure here, keeping that bridge shape, extending the legs up, or doing a combination of both. We have about 8 more rounds of breath for you to enjoy in stillness and silence. If you have your legs stretched up towards the ceiling, slowly bend your knees, bring your knees towards your chest. And then one foot at a time, plant the soles of your feet back onto the mat. All together, let's take a breath in here and breath out. Pushing down through your feet, take an inhale to lift your hips, sliding your block out from underneath you, and settling back down onto your mat. When you're ready, slowly make your way towards your final resting pose, whatever that looks like for you today. Whether the legs are outstretched, the knees stay bent, or you take some other variation that feels good for you. Finding a place in your body that feels comfortable, that feels supportive. Somewhere you can really relax and enjoy this time of rest. And this is where I'll leave you to fully indulge in your Shavasana today. Taking at least 5 minutes here to really soak in all the goodness that your yoga has to offer you. I thank you so much, as always, for joining me in this practice. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.